Here's the latest project. This is an American, what's known as a Morgan dollar from, date, 1883. Come on. 1883, so that's what's that, 137 years old. 90, yeah, 137 years old. Right, let's get it out of the now immediately I can just see something up here. Hang on. Right, let's get it out of the pack and see. Hang on, I might have to just pause this for a second. Now, it's not in bad nick considering it's 137 years old, but there is a little dent in the reed. Can't see much else wrong with it, to be honest. It's an odd little, yeah. Right, so it is just that. That's okay. The way these are made are we punch a hole in the middle and then we pull these edges up. Or actually we punch a hole in the middle and push those edges down. So this then becomes the outside of the ring. The middle then is stretched out, so it deforms this a little bit obviously because that's stretched out. That's the inside, so I think I can probably hide that. I'll probably shave this anyway so that the ring fits nicer. There'll still be a bit of a mark, but not too bad. I'm all right with that. So these Morgan dollars, they're silver. They should be 100% silver, especially from 137 years ago, and they should weigh an ounce, which is 28 grams in my experience. They're usually a little bit under that, anywhere between 26 to 28. So 26.59. Yeah, so that's all right. That's well within the range. Yes. Nice coin. And when I've made them before, people have wanted it so that I can bring out that in God we trust. And then this kind of detail around here. You lose some of the eagle, obviously, but I'm going to make this as wide as possible. So it'll be quite a wide banded ring. And on the inside here, I don't think that will be too much of an issue. They're nice, aren't they? Right, I suppose we should get on with it. First, the scary part. This is the part where people usually question whether or not they've made the right decision to turn a nice coin into a ring, because this is what we have to do with it. This is called annealing. Now when you heat silver up, it becomes softer and allows you to machine it and engineer it in such a way that you don't ruin it. Not so shiny now. Right, so that is the first stage, and we will repeat that annealing probably, I'd have said, about another 30 or so times before this ring is completed, probably more. I'd have thought. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to clean up our tool bench a little bit and work out the size of owl. This is where it gets interesting, because aesthetics play a major part in the finished ring. For the widest band, this is 3/8. Now the only issue with this is that it means the distance from here to both edges of the ring is not going to be equal. There's going to be more space where the eagle's head is. So that's 3/8, I think. Yeah, 3/8. I'm going to go for 7/16. Now that's only, it sounds like not massive. It's 1/16. 7/16, right? 3/8 is 6/16 for people who do old money. So this is 1/16 of an inch bigger. But the reason I'm going to do that is once that goes in, the distance between, or the in God we trust bit, will be more centered, and the reading and the laurel at the bottom will be more pronounced. So that's why I'm going for this. Double check. 7/16. Now this is where people really then start to panic. I'm just going to pop that in there. Now this is a self-centering punch. I'm going to put that in here, and this has got a cone on the inside, so it will pull it into the middle. Zoom out. Right, I'm just going to pause while I absolutely double triple check that. The punch is now in the assembly, and the ring is the coin is centered. This is the second part where people usually question whether or not they should have made this beautiful coin into a ring, because we use this 1 ton press, sorry, no, it's not, it's a 6 ton press, sorry, to push that punch down through the coin, and that is the middle of the coin. And now let's take that out of there. Ooh. No going back now. So there we have, and you'll see what I mean now with the distance between here and here is now much nicer than if we'd have had that smaller hole. Right, good, I'm happy with that. Next, there's a lot of deburring. Deburring is we run a blade around the inside and the outside, because we need to ensure there are no imperfections whatsoever on that inside edge, because when we start to fold it and stretch it, the slightest imperfection will lead to a crack and ruin the entire ring. Right, I'm going to try with the head cam. As I do that, it might turn out really badly. Microphone on. I was supposedly recording, and I don't know, we'll see. This is the next frightening stage, for those who haven't seen it before. Just by using those cones, the non-reeded side is up to a size T. I don't know if that shows up on the camera or not. Anyway, believe me, it's on a size T. Now this ring is only going to be a size T, but to get it to there we need to make it bigger and then smaller. I know. What can you say? Sounds counterintuitive. And the way we do it is on this machine. This machine, as this comes up, it stretches these out. And it's a ring stretcher. That's the name of the machine. And it's what it does. So, I put a piece of paper towel on, and that stops this metal destroying the inside detail on the coin, because the inside is just as important as the outside. And then ever so gently going to open that out. And that now, I said it was on a T, it's now on a U&1/2. Guess what? I'll edit this out if I remember. That's also, of course, assuming the camera is recording and not just perhaps not just pointing at my belly or at the ceiling or off to the left. Could be anywhere. The next part is a mixture of scary stuff and horrendous stuff. First of all, very briefly, I'm going to open this out a little bit more, but not by much, probably just to a U. I mean a V. A V and a little bit, maybe. Yeah, V1/2. Now the reason for that is, what I've now done is I've work hardened this part. This part is still annealed and soft. The reason we want it to sew, let's just move all my bits out of the way. The next part of this machining exercise, I've taken a bit longer on this one because I've wanted to film it as well, but this is where, and again this PTFE tape is purely, the only reason is to protect the detail of the coin from being damaged when we squish it against tooling grade stainless steel. Now what we're going to do is push this into a cone. No idea if this is going to work on film, but before we do that we need to try and take this PTFE off the reed, and the reason for that is we don't want it potentially slipping. So how we do that, it's my phone, we just push that lightly into a die. And I don't know if you can see, it just cuts enough to take that off. Next, we need to lube up. It's really warm in here today, so this coconut oil, as coconut butter or whatever it's called, has melted. But that's okay. It's still good enough lube. You can never have too much lube. And we just drop that in there and centre it up. Oops, okay. So now that is just sat in there, and the PTFE is to cushion it from the outside. And next, we're going to squish it down out of this hole at the bottom. But we need to make sure that it is level in there first, otherwise it will go all skewy. We don't want it going all skewy. So again, on the 6th time, press. Actually, if I just loosen this, turn it, and then come down again. I don't know if we'll catch it on camera. Probably not. And there we have a ring. Now that's not going to be far off the size we want. It's going to be probably about 2 sizes over, or 3 sizes over. That's okay. That's good, because now we start the process of making it. As you can see, it's still slightly cone shaped. If we have a look at the non-reeded side, that's going to be up around WX. So now's the stage of gently forming it into a ring, and this is where I'm going to start taking some of the reed out on the inside, which is where we won't lose that imperfection. So lots more annealing and then squishing back through these reducing cones. So I won't bother boring you with all that, if indeed it has actually recorded. Really not sure how the head camera footage is going to come out, so I'm back using the traditional method. Now, by a series of lots of annealing and then using increasingly sized fibre cones, pushing into, well, actually just this die, we have got the intermediate stage between coin and ring, and if I just show you there, that's that little imperfection that I talked about earlier. Now I'll show you in a little bit, once we've got this into a ring shape, how I'm going to try and reduce the impact of that. But there's a lot of work to do still. It's coming along. Back soon. You join me sometime later. Still annealing and squishing. Now I've marked on here how far down I have placed this Deburring pusher, and that's how far down the coin is in there now. And I will have to probably pause this for a second while I use 2 hands to push it out. Okay, there we are. You know what, I'm going to have to pause again while I unwrap it. Now I think we should be undersized. Now we measure this on the reed side. Oh, boat going past outside. And yep, perfect. We're undersized by 1 and a titch, which means then, oh bollocks, oops, edit that out. Now, why do we undersize it? Realistically, what we have here is a cone. So the cone, we have the reeded side, which is thicker obviously than the side that we punched the actual hole from, but the ring needs to be ring shaped, not cone sort of shaped. So we take about the middle as being where the right size is. We need to bring this in and this out. So if we undersize the ring as we have now, this is a size too small. What we can do is bring this out and it'll automatically bring these out too. And then the final adjustment is where we get this exactly right, and we should have then a nice straight edged, or as straight as you're gonna get, ring. And that means, boys and girls, popping it on the ring stretcher again. But I can only do that really with 2 hands. Sometime later, quite some time later, I should have just left that on. This, I don't know, I might have to edit this out. In fact, I'm getting ready to edit this out. I think I've gone through this in tiny little increments of size. Let's see. Now it's the reed size we need to measure it on. Please don't be far off. Let's have a look. Wow. I don't know whether that's just experience or luck. Look at that. Crumbs. Wow. Hey, now perhaps I do know what I'm doing after all. Let's have a look at how I've managed to hide that imperfection. Can you tell where it is? Well, I can, obviously, because I knew where it was. There we are. It's actually at 12 o'clock there. Tiny, tiny little indent in. I could try and sand a bit of that out, but do you know what? I like the idea of leaving that little imperfection there, because we don't know when that was put in, when that little dint was put in. That could have been any time in the last 137 years. So I'm going to leave it in there because it's a part of the character of the coin or of the ring. And those reeds, obviously, as you squish them in from being a big round flashy thing to a tubular thing, the reeds get slightly deformed anyway. So I'm leaving that in. Let's give it a polish and see what it looks like. Wow. This is just the first polish off the buffing wheel. Now, that, I like that. I do like keeping that. That's I think that's fitting for something 137 years old. Yeah. I notice a difference between what I'm calling old quality silver and new quality silver. This is far nicer to work. Yes, I'm very, very pleased with that. Let's give it a bit of a proper polish with a proper polishing cloth. We've lost the best of the daylight. It's now gone just past 7 o'clock, and I've given it a very quick polish with one of these proper silver polishing cloths, and I'd recommend these to anybody who has silver jewellery or a silver ring made by me. Very, very pleased with this. This has come out absolutely beautifully, and as I've said before, you notice the difference between a quality older silver and new silver. I know you shouldn't, but yeah, but I think that I'm very, very happy with this. Now, there are various finishes that you can put on a ring such as this. You can use a liver of sulphur to make it black and then just gently polish off so that it brings out the raised pieces as silver. That's a nice finish, but that still needs a lacquer on, and it wears off in time. And I think it's a little bit like, I don't know, I think it's a little bit like just wrapping something beautiful in an old sack. This silver is such lovely silver. I like it as it is. I'll obviously give the customer the option for different patinas if that's what they want. I love this. It is just quality coin, and I do like the idea of having left that imperfection in there. I think it's a tribute to the ring, because we don't know how that was put in or when, and it doesn't affect. I've kept the outside. You can't notice it on the outside. It's only once you know it's there, once you realise that you can actually pick it out. But that's 137 years old. Beautiful. So I'm going to call that done now, and I shall now send a copy of this video, or a link to this video, to the customer. Very pleased. If you like this nonsense and the stuff that I do, please feel free to subscribe to my little channel. It'd be lovely to have you. And if you want to know why I do this sort of thing, there's a link in the description underneath. I don't do this purely for beer money. In fact, I don't do this for beer money at all, because I have my own little brewery. I do this to raise funds for little projects that I think are important, and I hope you do too. There's a link in the description. But for now, I think I'm happy with this Morgan dollar. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I know I'm not really much of a filmmaker, but I hope you found it interesting nonetheless.